Watch World War II in 24 minutes. World War II. In human history, a global war on an unprecedented scale. This war has never been more tragic. 6 years from 1939 to 1945, 61 countries have participated in the exhibition, more than 100 million exhibitors. 2 billion were involved in the war, directly or indirectly due to war. About 70 million people died. The number of injured reached 130 million, causing economic losses of more than 40,000 billion US dollars. Next, let's go in chronological order. Understand the detailed process of World War II in one go. Lapan Bless. Jan. Simblan Bless. In the United States and the United Kingdom, victory in World War I. Led by France. Begin a meeting at Versailles in Paris. Discuss what to do with the defeated Germany. This is the famous Paris Peace Conference in world history. After several discussions, finally on the 28th of June 1919, the victorious nation signed with Germany the famous Contract of Versailles. In the Contract of Versailles, victory versus Germany, various restrictive measures have been taken, such as the redrawing of Germany's borders, divide up all of Germany's overseas colonies, make Germany pay huge reparations, limit Germany's armament party, Germany under the weight of war trauma and contracts, domestic economic collapse, inflation rage, people's living standards have plummeted, essential eggs in life, milk and bread were once luxuries. So, this contract planted the seeds of revenge in the hearts of Germans. In 1919 Drexler, founding of the German Workers' Party in Munich. That same year, Hitler joined and took control of the party. Après Vinci, German Workers' Party renamed National Socialism, German Workers' Party, and the German Nazi Party. At a conference in Washington in 1921, Japanese naval power suffered from the severe restrictions of Western imperialism. This makes Japan, I hate Versailles after World War I, Washington system. Then the fascist organization began, rising majestically in Japan. By the 1930s, fascist forces in Japan have very powerful 19 years Italian country. Fascist Party founder Mussolini, organizing the Montenegrin army to launch a riot. To Rome, the capital of Italy, and coerced the King of Italy to appoint Chi as Prime Minister. Italian government finally compromises. Mussolini formed a cabinet in October of the same year. The establishment of the world's first fascist dictatorship. Mussolini's seizure of power inspired my friend Hitler. Osemno 23. Hitler thought the timing was right. He insisted on marching on Rome after Mussolini. Seized the right example. Start planning a march on Berlin. Launched a beer hall riot. But it ended in failure. Hitler arrested and jailed. Government orders ban on Nazi Party. Closed the Nazi Party newspaper. In 1925, Hitler rebuilt the Nazi Party after being released from prison and established the SS. The world economic crisis broke out first in the United States and quickly spread to the entire capitalist world. In this economic crisis, United States and other countries adopted the means of the New Deal to restore economic development. But Germany, countries such as Japan have adopted fascist dictatorship to get out of the economic crisis. In 1931, the Nazi Party under Hitler has grown to 3 million, become the mainstream political party in Germany. In the same year, Japan divert domestic attention from the economic crisis, start a constant war of aggression. On September 18, Japan launched the September 18 incident, occupied northeast China. China's 14-year anti-Japanese war begins. It also opened the prelude to the World Anti-Fascist War. The Nazi Party, representing the forces of fascism in Germany, became the largest party in Germany. In 1933, Hitler was in the German military, with the support of the monopoly bourgeoisie, come to power as the head of Germany. Immediately after Hitler gained power, home integration bans all non-Nazi political parties in Germany, and put the artists, writers and Jewish Germans targeted. Prohibit these people from publishing books and publishing works to promote ideas. In 1935, under the impact of the century's economic crisis, Italy also pursued a policy of expansion. The Mussolini government identified territorial expansión. It is a necessary means to relieve domestic economic pressure. So they sent troops to invade Ethiopia, facing the rise and expansion of German, Italian, and Japanese fascists, major Western powers. such as French media, instead of coming forward. Instead, he took a wise approach to protect himself. A casual policy of concession everywhere greatly contributed to the arrogance of the fascist country. The same year, Hitler tore up the Versailles Contract, open expansion of the military 550,000 and formation of the Air Force, complement that accelerated external expansion. In 1936, civil war broke out in Spain. Government of the Republic and National Army wait for another force to fight. Soviet Union and Mexico support the government of the Republic, while Nazi Germany and Italy supported the National Army. Spanish Civil War, recognized as a prelude to World War II, the Axis powers and the anti-fascist allies. Proxy-war insingtai. Șapte, Jul 30, și șapte. Japan provokes the Lugu Bridge incident. Launch a full-scale war of aggression against China. Chinese soldiers and civilians rise up to resist. The anti-Japanese National United Front was formally formed. China set off the climax of the whole nation's war of resistance. This is also considered World War II. Signs of outbreak in Asia. On August 13, the Battle of Songhu broke out. Battle of Pine Lake, China and Japan. The first major battle in the anti-Japanese war. It is also the scale of the entire Sino-Japanese war. The biggest battle, the worst battle. This battle was bravely resisted by the vast number of patriotic soldiers. Shattered Japan's 3-month plan to destroy China. 30 și 7. Japanese invaders occupy Nanjing, carried out the horrific Nanjing Massacre. More 38. Hitler sends troops to invade Austria and quickly annex Austria. Britain and France not only did not stop, also, in order to achieve universal sweep progress in Europe, seek peace for a generation at the expense of Czechoslovakia. Signing of the Munich Agreement with pride. Wilczek, the Sudetenland region of Slovakia, ceded to Germany, condoned German aggression and expansion. Mordtretjungnyu. Germany tore up the Munich Agreement, sent troops to occupy all the territory of Czechoslovakia, greatly increased German military and economic power. Then Hitler tried to connect the east and west regions, demand that Poland give up the Ganze region. Britain and France made it clear, if Hitler attacked Poland, we'll declare war on Germany. But Hitler at this time, I don't care if Britain and France go to war. Between May and August 1939, Hitler through Foreign Minister Liebentrop repeatedly expressed to the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany has no intention of invading the Soviet Union and hoped to improve their relationship. The Soviet Union was dissatisfied with the British and French border policy. At the same time, for the security of one's own country, it is convenient for Germany to sign the Soviet-German Treaty of Complementary Aggression and discuss the partition of Poland and Eastern Europe. 1 Sep. 39. Hitler dispatched 58 divisions, 800 tanks, 2,000 aircraft, and 6,000 artillery pieces, launched a Blitzkrieg attack on Poland. On September 3, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The Second Century War officially broke out, but Britain and France actually just declared no war. The competition began. 1 month later, all of Poland fell. According to the Soviet-German Non-Aggression Pact, the Soviet Union annexed territory in eastern Poland. Germany annexed territory in western Poland. At the same time, Soviet and German countries begin to arrest and kill Poles. Hitler's SS massacre of Polish Jews. 26.39. The Soviet Union created the Manila shelling and used this as an excuse to assemble more than 1 million troops. Big picture invasion of Finland. In this war, how big can the Soviet Union be said to be? How strict is it? More than 1 million troops are unfamiliar with the terrain and command disadvantage. Once divided into blue, 200,000 army guerrilla tactics. In the end, the Soviet Union paid 400,000 casualties, barely won the war. History of the Winter War. The Soviet Union's performance in this war. Hitler also launched, more confident in attempts to invade the Soviet Union, and started to contact Finland to join its program. 9 April 40. Hitler, in order to ensure the supply of iron ore resources, sent German troops to invade Norway and Denmark, and quickly occupied both countries. Hitler, according to the Manstein Plan 5, 101940, Hitler, according to the Manstein Plan, mobilized 3 million Bentley, 700 tanks, 5,100 aircraft, bypassed the heavily defended Marcin rudder line. Invasion of Western European countries. On May 13, Churchill came to power as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and discussed changes to the previous border policy. Persist against Germany. During the period, Italy took advantage of the fire, sent troops to declare war on Britain and France. On May 26, the Dunkirk retreat took place. 340,000. The Allies escaped the German encirclement. Withdrawal to the UK. This is the scale of World War II. Largest military evacuation. On June 22, France surrendered to Germany. Less than 2 months, the German army completely occupied the Western European continent. After the fall of France, de Gaulle creates free French government in Britain. Continue to fight German aggression. Chasse, Jules 40. Hitlersetzau. Draw up a maritime plan to invade England. In order to ensure the smooth implementation of the Douai landing operation, the Germans planned to seize the air power first. On July 10, the Germans launched the Air Battle of Breton. It was the largest air battle of World War II. The two sides have dispatched more than 6,000 aircraft. In this air battle, RAF, under the command of Churchill, a heroic struggle against the Germans. Ultimately, the British to lose one British 744 aircraft, and the cost of 1,542 pilots, destroyed the Germans. Won UK 977 aircraft and 2,585 pilots. After the war, Germany lost a large number of fighter jets and pilots, and cannot gain air supremacy over the English Channel. Had to abandon the Sea Lion plan to invade Britain. Instead, turn the strategic focus to the eastern battlefield. 27 Sep 40. Diplomatic representatives of Germany, Italy, and Japan signed the German-Italian-Japanese Triple Alliance Treaty in Berlin. This marks the official establishment of the Axis Group. Then Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Finland joined the Axis camp one after another. 18-40. Italy attacks Greece, but was stubbornly resisted. 6 April 4-1. Germany invades Greece and Yugoslavia, and quickly conquered both countries. So far in the European battlefield, except for the UK, Germany clears major obstacle to conquest of Soviet Union. 22-41. Germany tore up the Soviet-German Non-Aggression Pact, Huotompuchongwa, Hungary-Romania, Finland, and other countries. According to the pre-planned Barbarossa plan, 190 divisions assembled, 4,900 aircraft, 700 tanks, 47,000 artillery pieces and 190 warships, 5.5 million. Become 3 army groups. From the north central, 3 directions south. Attack on the Soviet Union during the Shanxi War. The Great Patriotic War of the Soviet Union broke out. Early in the war, due to the fascist surprise attack, the Soviet army retreated. Less than a month, the Germans captured large swaths of Soviet territory. 341. Soviet leader Stalin delivers a radio speech. Call on the people of all ethnic groups in the Soviet Union to rise up to defend the motherland. Under Stalin's leadership, Soviet soldiers and civilians fought bravely. Retreat to the inland defensive zone one after another. 7-41. German troops launched large-scale siege in Kiev region. This battle almost brought the Soviet Red Army. The southwest front is completely surrounded. 660,000 captured. 160,000 casualties. Battle of Kiev. 30 Sep 41. Hitler delusions before the terrible cold comes. Capture Moscow in one fell swoop. He mobilized 1.8 million of easy troops, 14,000 cannons and platoon guns, 700 tanks, 950 aircraft. Launched a massive offensive code-named Typhoon. First phase of the campaign German. In the Vyazma region. Destroy more than 600,000 Soviet Red Army personnel. Then quickly occupied the outskirts of Moscow. Destroyed multiple Soviet lines. 7-41. As the Germans pushed into Moscow, in order to improve the morale of the people and the army of the Soviet Union, still organized the military parade on Red Square on time. Hundreds of thousands of Red Army marched through Red Square. Soviet Union showed the world its determination to fight to the end. The troops under review after the parade. go straight to the front. Major Soviet leaders, including Stalin, in Moscow, to show the determination to stick to the first. Shasedek Patruzech, Shiunu, the Soviet Red Army launched a counterattack. In the end, the Soviet Red Army cost 1 million casualties, destroyed the Germans 500,000. Victory in the defense of Moscow, smashed Hitler in 3 or 5 months. Arrogant plan to conquer the Soviet Union, greatly encouraged the determination of the world's anti-fascist people to fight aggression. Shaptedek Patruzechunu. Japanese fascists were implemented the Nanjing policy. Hegemony in the Asia-Pacific region has been established. But Japan's aggressive policy seriously damaged the interests of the United States and the United Kingdom. America had to react. Restrictions or even bans on steel exports to Japan. Strategic materials such as oil, freeze Japanese assets in the United States, and increase aid to China, UK, Australia, and other countries. Corresponding measures have also been taken. Japan, which relies on imports of strategic materials, is a serious blow. Japan took advantage of the fact that the American war was not ready, attacked the U.S. Pacific base Pearl Harbor, hit the U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet. On December 8th, the United States declared war on Japan. The Pacific War broke out. Germany and Italy declare war on the United States. The United States also quickly responded by declaring war on December 9. Chinese national government, 10 years after the Sino-Japanese War, also officially declared war on Germany, Italy, and Japan. World War II was won on the largest scale. Satu Jan, 42, Chinese Soviet Union, 26 countries including the United States and the United Kingdom. United Nations Joint Declaration in Washington. Publication of the Declaration marks the world against formal establishment of the Fascist League from September 1939 to January 1942. Chinese Army and Tsinghua Japanese Army. In the 9th Theater centered on Changsha, unfolded 3 large-scale and fierce offensive and defensive battles in the Battle of Changsha. China has invested more than 1.2 million troops. The Japanese army invested more than 400,000 troops. Finally, the Chinese army, 90,000 casualties, destroyed more than 110,000 Japanese, won the Battle of Changsha, smashed Japan's attempt to eliminate the main force of the Chinese army, the strategic goal of falling by fire, powerfully defended the vast area of Hunan and the safety of our country's southwest rear. At the same time, Chinese 8th Road Army behind enemy lines in North China launched the 100 Regiments War. Throughout the campaign, the 8th Road Army fought a total of 1,824 large and small battles. More than 50,000 Japanese puppet army will be injured. Hit the reactionary arrogance of the Japanese puppet army, greatly boosted the confidence of the whole country in the anti-Japanese war. More 48 war. For more effective coordination of anti-fascist operations, Chinese Expeditionary Force enters Myanmar. Coordinate with the British to fight against Japan. June 42. Japan has successively cooperated with the U.S. military and allied troops. In the Pacific battlefield, start 2 wars. Battle of Midway and Battle of Guadalcanal. Both battles ended in Japanese defeat. Allied forces in the Pacific. From then on, it will be transferred to the stage of strategic counteroffensive. Jules 42. After Hitler lost the defense of Moscow, abandoned the all-risk attack plan, decided to concentrate offensive forces on the southern front. The target is to capture the Caucasus oil fields, occupy the wheat-producing areas of the Volga Valley, take Stalingrad. Hitler thought, once the above goals are achieved, Russia will lose its oil and food supplies. Links with the southern region will be severed, so the country can easily win this war. So Germany began its summer offensive of 1942, after nearly 2 months of bloody fighting. The last fortress of the Soviet defense, full of Sevastopol, German troops occupied the entire Crimean Peninsula. 11 Jul. The German 6th Army enters the border of Stalingrad. On July 17, German troops in the Zia River in the Don River region and Zimla River district exchange fire with the Soviets. The Battle of Stalingrad officially begins. Hitler for the large number of American troops before arriving in Europe, and the war against the Soviet Union as soon as possible. 2 million Bentley, 1,200 tanks and more than 600 aircraft. The Soviets also invested more than 3 million Bentley and a lot of planes. Battle of Stalingrad, called a meat grinder war. Soldiers on the battlefield survive less than 24 hours on average. Officers not more than 3 days. At the height of the battle, soldiers don't even survive more than 9 minutes. It's more tragic than ever. In the end, the Soviets, 2 million casualties, handed over the German 1.5 million army. Use fresh, blood-piled-up victory at the Battle of Stalingrad. Battle of Stalingrad. Not only a turning point in the Soviet-German battlefield, it was also a turning point in the entire Second World War. The balance of power in the Soviet Union began to fundamentally reverse. Germans turned to defense. The Soviet army gained the strategic initiative. This shift accelerated the general process of the anti-fascist war, prompting the entire anti-fascist war start moving from defense to offense. 3. October 2. Germany and Italy attempt to occupy Egypt, control the Suez Canal, launched the Battle of El Alamein. The battle lasted 12 days. Eventually, the British-led Allies ended in victory. Après 43. Anglo-American coalition defeats German and Italian troops in North Africa. On July 10, the Anglo-American coalition, Chengsheng lands in Sicily, southern Italy, destroy the German and Italian 160,000. Sigilli, landing station, politically strongly shocked the Italian government, led to a coup in Italy. Eventually, Mussolini's fascist government, replaced by a new government formed by Badoglio. Tiga Sep. Badoglio announces unconditional surrender of Italy and withdrawal from the Axis alliance. Declare war on Germany. At the same time as the landing battle in Sicily, Hitler launches the Battle of Kursk against the Soviet Union, intended to cause massive casualties to the Soviet army. Soviet High Command German Army strategic intentions, prepared for a dominant army. Artillery, tanks, and planes stand by. This battle, German and Soviet troops dispatched nearly 8,000 tanks. Both sides committed more than 2.8 million soldiers. Air Force combat aircraft exceed 5,000, the largest tank battle in history, and the largest single-day air combat record. The Battle of Kursk was finally won by the Soviets. The German army was defeated and ended, but the Soviets paid a heavy price. Loss of troops, 800,000. More than 3,000 tanks lost. 1,700 aircraft lost. The Germans lost 500,000. Lost 1,500 tanks. Loss of 1,000 aircraft. The Battle of Kursk was also the last time the Germans' strategic large-scale attack on the Soviet Union. After that, the German army completely lost the strategic initiative. The Soviet army began to expand. Continuous strategic offensive successfully drove the Germans out of the Soviet Union. November 22-26, 1943. Zong May. UK leaders meet in Cairo, Egypt. Signed, the Cairo Declaration. Statement of anti-fascist allies around the world. Will insist on fighting against Japan until the unconditional surrender of Japanese fascists. At the same time, clearly stipulate, Japan occupied the 3 northeastern provinces, Chinese territory, including Taiwan's Penghu Islands, must be returned to China. November 28 to 1 December 1943. The leaders of the United States and Britain held a meeting in Tehran, the capital of Iran. Line meeting. The meeting decided to open up a second battlefield in Europe to defeat Nazi Germany as soon as possible. 6 June 44. British, French, and American forces, under the command of Commander-in-Chief Eisenhower, concentrate force 2.88 million and 6,000 warships of various types, 13,700 aircraft, across the English Channel. D-Day, in northern France.